Hey composers, how's it going? This is Walid from Evenant here. Today we're going to take a look at this solo strings library called Cinematic Studio Solo Strings, created by Alex Wallbank, the mastermind behind Cinematic Strings 1 and 2 and Cinematic Studio Strings. I've been an avid user of Alex's libraries for years now, and they never cease to amaze in my ears. They blend very well together with other libraries. They have a simple and intuitive GUI with a smart contact scripted engine under the hood. I can't wait for the future releases as well. Cinematic Studio Strings is my favorite strings library because it functions as a real workhorse, covering most of my needs when it comes to producing cinematic music. Anyway, today we're going to take a look at these solo strings. Now, I wrote a quick piece here showing off the sound using the solo and ensemble patches. The library features a solo violin 1, violin 2, viola, and cello. There are also 2 ensemble patches with all of the instruments playing together. The library usually goes for $299, but right now during Black Friday, it's only $239, and it's available for the free version of Contact as well as the full version 5.6.8. All right, let's listen to this quick track here and then check out the library more in detail. Cool. So I really love the sound, first of all. One of the most important things to me when it comes to samples is clarity. The strings are clear and sonorous, they have a lot of depth and quality. Another thing I love is the fact that the legato engine is adaptive, just like with Cinematic Studio Strings. This means that if I play soft and slow, or hard and fast, it will react to it and play accordingly. Let me show you what I mean. So let's load up this violin 1 here. And I'm just using one contact instance for this and just routing them to these MIDI channels right here. So here's the GUI, and we're going to talk about this in just a minute here. And we have legato switched on here, so let's check this out. It's really nice legato, and like I said before, it adapts to my like how fast I hit the notes. You can see that right here. And I think I can show you the track first and the different articulations that I've used so we can go through them. So in the beginning here, you heard the full strings, and that's using the harmonics. So if we take a look here, the very beginning here, you see that I have harmonics set there. And then in these ones, I'm using marcato with the spiccato overlay. So for the violin 1, 2, violas, and cello. And I'm key switching using key switches, because you can see here that each of them have a note to them. So that's usually how I go about changing the articulations of these libraries. And I stick to marcato throughout this part here, switching up a little bit with the legato. So you heard there, I'm switching out the legato right there from marcato. And then the full strings are just regular sustains. So the full strings here are basically all of them playing together, so I get a bigger sound. But yeah, that's basically how I go about working with this or with these libraries, both Cinematic Studio Strings and Cinematic Studio Solo Strings, just switching out wherever I need them. So let's take a look at the articulations that are included in this library. So we have sustains, and you can switch on and off legato. So let's choose violin again. Sustains with legato. And then, of course, you can do like that, or with concertino. And of course, you can combine them. And then we have the staccato, which is a really nice function here. So it starts from sforzando, and then it goes to staccato, staccatissimo, and spiccato. And this is controllable by the mod wheel. So I really like playing like this, because then it allows you to quickly switch between the different articulations naturally. So you see? So that's a really cool feature. And then we have tremolo with or without legato. Harmonics. Trills, and this is played by choosing the notes that you want to play. So if I do a minor trill here, so I'm hitting both my notes like E and F, or if I do major, it's a cool feature as well. And then we have measured tremolo, so we can sync this to host, or we can just choose a tempo right here. So if we sync to host, if I play something, it's gonna play a second note synced to the host. Or we can just do like this. Which is pretty cool as well. And the marcatos with or without the spiccato overlay. So this is the one I use for the most in this track. This is pretty cool articulation. It's pretty nice. And then without. And of course we have pizzicato. And you can change these as well with the collegno, the Bartok snap, and the pizzicato. And the collegno. Pretty cool stuff. So these are also present in the Cinematic Studio Strings library, so they match very well. Now, these are the articulations that you use 98% of the time when writing for strings in cinematic music. The rest 2% can be faked using these different articulations that already exist. And another thing, like I said before, is that it's very wonderful that you can take cinematic studio strings and simply layer them together to blend perfectly with each other for that big ensemble feel, with that extra finesse of the solos. Even the articulations work the same way in cinematic studio strings. And of course you have the different mics here. So I usually keep it at mix for a lesser RAM footprint, and also because it has a great sound. You can of course also route these out down here to whichever bus that you want, so you can control them in the mix individually. Now, if you click here, you can control more things, such as the vibrato crossfade for when you have like senza vibrato. So if we just take, let's do. CC11 for that. And I switch. Now I'm going to control CC11 here. Which is a really nice feature to have. Some people have been saying that the vibrato is a little bit too much in these libraries, but it's very simple to choose yourself. You know, you can fade out the vibrato just using this control right here. And the same thing goes for the portamento velocity. You can switch it on and off, and volume and velocity, and also if you want to do key switch. So talking about the legato a little bit, we have this advanced thing here, and this is a function more aimed towards the Cinematic Studio Strings library to help, I believe at least, achieve a more realistic legato in the full ensembles. So I just keep this switched off, and it sounds sweet anyway for both libraries. And that's about it for the articulations and overall how this library works. We can listen through them one by one to see how they sound. So if we start with the full ensemble. Really lovely sound. If you take some violin. Violin 2. Viola. And I have two violas here, just yeah, you know, you can choose whichever way you want the instrumentation. And the cello. Yes, great stuff. Now, another thing that's in this library is this reverb knob here. So if you're not using any external reverb, I'm doing that right now. I'm using this 2C Audio's B2, and if I switch that off and just play without reverb. I think I'm maybe having this a little bit panned. So if I take that back a bit. And then add a bit of this internal reverb here. So it's a pretty nice reverb as well. I usually like to have a bit more control, so I just put this to 0 and just use an external reverb. So I hope you liked that little overview there, this little review. I really like this library a lot, and you know, you can blend them so well with the cinematic studio strings. If we just open up a new here, check that out. So here they are. Can try let's do the viola and the cinematic studio strings, the violas. And so let's put them to the same. And so now if I play, it's gonna be kind of like layered. And this is now without reverb as well. So I'm not using any reverb, and then if I just add a little bit here, it's gonna give it that extra bit of nice sound there. Yeah, I love this sound. All right, guys, that's a quick look at Cinematic Studio Solo Strings. It's available for $239 right now during Black Friday. I highly recommend this, and of course the other library as well, Cinematic Studio Strings. I use them for pretty much every single track that I do that needs strings. Really lovely sounds. All right, see you next time.